All right, let's start with the rapid fire rounds just to break the ice. The first one is, at what age do you want to retire?
Never.
How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
20.
Favorite color?
Red.
What time of day are you most inspired?
Late afternoons.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on?
4. You stretch at 3.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming technology trend is NAG.
Exciting.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Paris.
Pick one, Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk.
Musk.
The biggest mistake of your career.
Didn't take some of the opportunities that had come my way.
How do you relax?
Sci-fi movies.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
4.
A habit of yours that you hate.
Procrastination.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
Relationship.
Your favorite Netflix show.
And it's been so many of these Netflix. What was the Broken Mirror?
One word description of your leadership style.
Visionary.
Top priority in your daily schedule.
Meeting the team.
Ideal vacation spot for relaxation.
Sun Sand Sangria.
Key factor for maintaining a work-life balance.
Quality time with family.
All right, that's the end of the rapid fire.
This episode is sponsored by Outgrow.co, the world's first all-in-one interactive content builder. Use Outgrow to build quizzes, calculators, tests, polls, forms, contests, and chatbots to generate leads and keep your audience engaged. Sign up for a free trial at https://outgrow.co.
Let's go on to the bigger question. So someone from the audience asked that IKEA has launched on the ChatGPT store. Could you tell us a bit more about your launch of the GPT store?
Absolutely. Bear in mind, it's only been 5 months since we have launched, so it's very early trials. So far, we have had approximately 3,000 plus interactions, which have resulted in anywhere between 500 to 600 visits to Ikea.com. We are also seeing most of the engagement has been around product retrieval, product search in the category of sofas and outdoors. And of course, I think one of the bigger challenges we are identifying is the GPT store clearly has a subscription. We are figuring out how best to work in a fashion where we drive accessibility of our assistant on the ChatGPT to the many people.
And what led to the decision to launch on the GPT store?
Clearly, we are always experimenting into the best touch points where we want to connect, engage, and inspire the customers. And of course, from that perspective, we have had our fantastic stores. We migrated into the web and the app ecosystem. In some parts of the world, we are also into marketplaces. But one of the channels we feel will start becoming relevant now, but also in the future, is with what we see with the emergence of GPT. And as new GPTs start emerging, we felt that's one of the places where we wanted to put ourselves ahead, try, learn, experiment, and really understand how the engagement is going to be and make it into being accessible to the many. And some of that many might also be in the GPT. So really experimenting and looking forward.
So in this test and try, are there any specific challenges or an interesting story you have about the implementation of the AI assistant?
I think it's really a learning mode. And I'll give you one of the examples, not necessarily about the AI assistant, but linked into it, we had launched the creative room design experience and planning experience to our customers about a year and a half ago. This is where it really allows the customers to go away from really selecting individual home furnishings to trying to understand what does it feel like to bring this home furnishing into your room. So you really use your phone, you scan the room, you create a version of your room, and then you see how the IKEA products would look and feel in that space. At some point, we decided we want to bring that experience from the online world also into our store. So we created the same creative experience to bring it into a store, and think of a small show set that we have in a store where you get to experience it. And we put a few room sets and pre-scanned room sets for the users to start experimenting with this in our stores in France. What we quickly started realizing was there were customers who were coming up to us saying, we just finished the design of a kitchen with your store coworker in the same store. Is it possible to have a look of that kitchen design in this store set? And all of a sudden, we started realizing there's a huge opportunity where customers who have just finished their design experiences, whether it's kitchen, whether it's their bedrooms, whether it's their paxes, they would love to see it, and all of a sudden creates that opportunity. So when you work with the customers, the co-workers, we really are figuring out there's so much opportunity, and customers will tell us in terms of the best use cases and the best adaptation. And then it's of course up to us how we are resilient enough to start adapting and start addressing some of those asks from our customers. So it's all about listening and then being resilient in responding to what the customer is asking for.
So speaking of response then, what strategies have you implemented to create a seamless omni-channel experience for IKEA customers?
I think we have come from a long way. So when you look at IKEA, this year we celebrate our 80 years of existence, and we grew from being a company which started as a mail order company in a small village in Sweden, now being the global leader in home furnishing. And for a large part of this home furnishing journey, we were largely brick-and-mortar retailing. Somewhere around early 2010, 2012, the customer behavior was drastically changing with the advent of smartphone, and we missed the cue on us having to adapt to this. But by 2015, 2016, we realized we can no longer ignore that trend. And we really said we need to transform ourselves from being a brick-and-mortar retailer to being a true omnichannel retailer. So we literally had to overnight start thinking about creating the foundations and the basics of what an omnichannel experience would look like. Believe it or not, in 2016, we had only 1% of our business which was digital. And today we stand at, on an average, 25% of our business digital, and almost 50 to 60% of our orders are clubbed with one or the other services. And we had to start from, where do we find inventory to show online? Where do we make sure that what are the experiences? How do we create the possibility of click and collect in stores? How do we fundamentally transform our stores into being the fulfillment units? So we are really making all of these transformations right from at the experience level, in terms of how customers interact with us in app, in their web systems, but also in store. How are we seamlessly connecting it? But to be able to enable this, we are also having to change everything into our middle layers. So everything into our fulfillment systems, going right back into our ERP systems as well. So we have the saying at Group Digital, where we say we are changing almost everything at the same time. And I say almost because the one thing we are trying to stay true is our cultures and values. And how do we make sure that we continue to embed this also while digitizing the whole towards our omnichannel experience? So it's been a fantastic journey. Still loads to do, but come a long way from where we started.
And how do these transformations, how are they impacting customer journey? For instance, how does the front days and other immersive experiences contribute to understanding and improving the customer journey at IKEA?
I think just to explain front days, the concept of front days, this is where IKEA co-workers who are in the back office, who are in different functions, also have the possibility to spend a full week into the stores, and of course, depending on, and spend in different parts and different organizations of the store. And I just finished my front days about a month ago, where I had the possibility then to spend time with the fulfillment team, receiving and offloading trucks at 4 in the morning, making sure replenishing the store, getting it ready before the store opens at 10 o'clock, and making sure that picking up click and collect orders for having it ready for when the customers. But I also spent time in the HFBs, which is the home furnishing units in the bedroom, and in also with kids. But likewise, spend some time also into our favorite restaurant, serving some amazing meatballs to customers at the store in Malmö. But this is where you really, truly, first up, understand the soul of IKEA. The store is at the soul of IKEA, and it gives you the possibility of understanding how the store really becomes a community. And we at IKEA always say we are one big family. This is where the whole concept of IKEA as one big family comes together. So that's probably the first real true experience you get from being away from the corporate world in the stores. But secondly, you start understanding what's relevant from a customer perspective, what's working, what's not working, but also what are the challenges that the co-workers are feeling, and in my case, when they are using some of the digital solutions. And I'll give you two concrete examples. This time around, when I was doing a visit in the store in Malmö, the co-worker led me to this one fantastic chair, and the chair actually had a label to say, please experience this chair. It's only when you experience, you will realize how comfortable this is. Now, this is really a hard wooden chair. Looking at it, you would feel it's not really soft enough and not really comfortable enough. But when you sit down and you experience it, you realize it creates a different experience. But I had to try this out. And what she asked me was something that had me thinking, how do I bring this possibility of test and try in the digital world? How do the same chair, when displayed in the digital world, how do I give customers who are looking at it digitally feel the possibility of experiencing it? Then we have a lot of commercial rules and guidelines in terms of how our stores are staffed. It gives me a fantastic opportunity to understand that and see what does that mean, our commercial guidelines, the way showrooms are prepared, the way the commercially they are set up. How do I apply that to the digital world as well? And if I take, I told you about my experience of replenishing the store. You really have to use the tools. And that's when you realize how very simple changes in terms of the user experiences can make a phenomenal experience differently for the co-worker, helping with productivity and efficiency, but also putting a smile on their face. So this is where I really believe, truly believe, front days are phenomenal in putting yourself in the shoes of the customers and the co-workers and really, truly bringing that back into your day-to-day job. So something that is a must try out for a lot of us.
Now tell us about your regular days that are not front days. You wake up in the morning and then what? What is it? What is your schedule like?
Every day in a week is fundamentally different. My role from a digital perspective goes from making sure that we are operating 24/7 in all parts of the world that we are operating into. And sometimes goes from making sure we have the right Wi-Fi and the network capabilities into all our stores and our sites to really designing some of the best experiences today and for tomorrow. So it really starts with getting a first view on what does the day today look like. Of course, if we are into some of the discussions like what we have today, making sure we have a little bit of an understanding on what I'm stepping into, what are those preparations. And then it's a mix and match of what we call committees and councils on specific initiatives and topics. But also, I use the week to divide to say there are parts of the week where I focus on content, but then there are parts of week where it's really dedicated towards one-on-one with either my direct reports or skip meetings, but also meeting teams and visiting the different sites and making sure that we have the possibility of really connecting and understanding what's happening across. So it really goes week to week. I think it's a good mix of ensuring content, my customers, both internal and external, but likewise a lot of time spent with my people as well.
And so if you had to put an average guess on it, how much of your time is taken up by meetings?
50-60% of my time goes into meetings. And ideally, it needs to go into a session where we are able to delegate this out to the rest of the organization and really use in-person time more for connecting and meeting individuals and or teams. Ideal scenarios, probably 30% would be a good bet, but I think it's something that I'm working on.
So speaking of delegating tasks, how do you identify and nurture high potential talent within IKEA's digital teams?
We have been able to attract fantastic talent, and we have some amazing programs to be able to grow them, both from a vertical aspect of the digital muscle, but also to figure out how we can bring some of the digital talents and bring them into a lot of what we call the retailing world outside in the broader Ingka and the IKEA world. One of the most recent had been the head of Omni meeting points in our retail business is someone who had been a chief product officer in Group Digital. So this is where we are really starting to mirror Group Digital to work extensively with our business. And that's where we are starting to see a fantastic amalgamation of talent and us building on each other's. At IKEA, we always say togetherness is at the heart of everything we do. And we truly are bringing this to life. So it's amazing to see the talent blossom. And when you see some of the talents grow and do achieve what they are achieving, that's also tremendously satisfying.
And what approaches, or do you have an interesting story around any approaches that you're taking to achieve personalization at scale within IKEA's digital platforms?
I think I always say currently we have been on this journey of moving from being a brick-and-mortar retailer to being an omnichannel retailer. And in the last 5 to 6 years, I think we have cracked the code of making sure that we are omni when it comes to seamlessly connecting the different channels and allowing you to transact omnichannel into different parts of the IKEA ecosystem. One of the topic though, which is on our agenda, where we really need to go from being good to great, is essentially how do we get to an omnichannel experience, which is engaging and inspiring also from across all of our ecosystems. And I'll give you a very concrete example. When you are in a store, and of course, one of the big attraction of being in an IKEA store is the fantastic room sets and the showrooms you see while visiting a store. And you really see how life in one of those room sets, whether that's the living room, whether that's the bedroom, really looks like. The topic we are working on is how do I bring that room set to life also in the digital context and with the same set of inspirations and the same set of engagement that you would see in a store. This is something that is a work in progress. But when I do this, how do I make sure that someone who already is a IKEA family member, who we know has likes and dislikes, how do we also start personalizing those room sets for the journey the family member would have, right from exploring to engaging to discovering to really going to the transaction at the end of it. So this is where we are discovering ourselves. But also one of the things IKEA does from a life at home leadership, we reach out to the many people in different parts of the world. We do home visits. We try and understand what does it mean for life at home in different parts of the world. And amazingly enough and understandably enough, life at home is very different in different parts of the world. And we are bringing this knowledge both into our products, but also how we engage with them in from a localized perspective in a store, but also from a personalized experience in the digital ecosystem. So still on a journey, work to do, and something that we are evolving, and you will see more of it in the coming years as well.
And how do you measure the effectiveness of all these personalization strategies? Like, there's a lot of businesses are also looking to measure the ROI of such strategies. So what advice would you have?
So at IKEA, we have what we call the value drivers. This is how the company measures it on the different KPIs, which goes from, of course, the business performance, but also our performance in aspects of the corporate governance, aspects of sustainability, aspects of leadership at life at home. But when it comes to personalization with regards to customer experience, our biggest benchmark is in terms of family, the IKEA family, and the loyalty and the engagement we create. As we speak today, we have about 190 million IKEA family members. The challenge we sit with is how many of them are active and at what rate are we really working with them. And this is something that we are actively working to say, how do we go from one or two interactions in a longer time frame to really having meaningful 5 to 10 interactions, ideally in a month. This is something that we are putting at the heart of it. So clearly the family membership and what's the size of family membership, but most importantly, what's the active customers that we engage with in the family and driving loyalty around us. Clearly on our radar and something that will be on our agenda in the coming months.
Right. So transformation, we've talked about transformation, personalization, measuring effectiveness. Let's talk a bit about sustainability now. How is IKEA integrating sustainability into all of these digital and technological initiatives and transformations?
Sustainability is one of the three roads that we speak about from an IKEA perspective. So at IKEA, we talk always about the three roads, really being affordable for the many, creating a better life for the many people, being accessible to the many, and last but not the least, being sustainable. And clearly, sustainability has had been topic on our agenda, and it goes across the full ecosystem, from the forest to the product and back. And we are, as IKEA, we are evolving the full ecosystem, and a lot's happening in terms of how do we best design sustainable products? How do we make sure that we are able to get these products to our customers in the most sustainable way through the right mobility, using the right fulfillment centers, and really reducing the impact on the planet around us. But last but not the least, how do we make sure that when these products are with our customers, we are also able to turn around and make sure that if they want to give a second life to these products, they're able to bring it back either into a recycling unit like we have in Netherlands, and I'll speak about it, but also are able to bring it and give it a second life to a different IKEA customer. So if I take two concrete examples, here in Netherlands, we allow for everyone who has used a mattress to be brought back to IKEA into what we call a return mattress. And we, as IKEA, will recycle this for all of Netherlands. This is something that we have kicked off, and extremely proud of being able to make sure that mattresses, which maybe historically have been burnt, really have a second life and are recycled in the best possible way. But likewise, one of the initiatives I'm super proud of is kicking off what we call circular. And we are now experimenting with how do we best allow for peer-to-peer connects. We, of course, have buybacks where if you are an IKEA customer, you can bring back your old furniture, IKEA furniture, into our stores, and we will buy it back from you. But also, we are now enabling and piloting with some of our first POCs of allowing customers to connect and giving IKEA products a second life. So super exciting. Stay focused. We are launching this soon in Spain and Norway, but I'm super excited about this initiative as well.
Yeah. All right. So the last question for you then is of a personal kind. What would you be doing in your life if not this?
Teaching. I really grew up as a son to a teacher. And of course, in my early days, also helped my mom in teaching, and I really enjoy doing this. So clearly, if not this as a career, and something that I'm also looking to evolve is how do we really embrace this and help prepare the next generation. Super excited about it. I'm Parag Parekh, Chief Digital Officer here at Ingka Group, IKEA Retail. Catch me on the Technologist of the Month show.